Welcome back to the CAA Women's Basketball Insider. And as always, it's great to be joined by Monica Moore. Monica, one of the best stories in the CAA so far has been the performance of UNCW. The Seahawks are 6-3 in league play in year two under coach Nicole Woods and have already matched their most CAA wins since the 2019-2020 season. What is working so well for the Seahawks?
Well, first of all, hats off to the Seahawks. I think they're catching a lot of people's attention. And one of the first things that jumps off the page to me is they are 4-0 in overtime games on the season so far. And I think that tells you a lot about this team because when it's late in the game, your legs are tired, you're having to constantly make good decisions and dig deep. If you can gut out those overtime wins, that bodes very well for late season, post season. So I think for the Seahawks, they're disciplined, they're well coached, and you learn a lot from those wins in overtime. Now we have to talk about Ali Zelaya. What a week she had. She is our CAA Player of the Week. She's been turning heads all season long, but this was a massive week for Ali Zelaya. You look, you see what she did against Hofstra. She has a new career high, but then she follows that up against Stony Brook. She goes from 22 points to 26 points. She smashes her career high again. She went from 13 rebounds to 14 rebounds. What an impact player. She's at the top of the list in almost every rebounding category in the league. She leads the league in block shots. She is a special player. But Jamie, there is going to be a theme of the week. And the theme of the week is you cannot find success in this league if you are just a one player team. You have to have lots of different players stepping up, filling those roles. And the good news for UNCW is they have lots of different players that can step up. First of all, Tia Dobbins, she was huge against Hofstra, came up big. The 8 assists jumps off the page, 16 points as well. And then it was Taylor Henderson against Stony Brook, had the double double with 10 points and 10 rebounds. And another player I really want to mention is Evan Miller, because I thought Evan Miller was fantastic in both games. And when you have a player like Evan Miller on your roster, it's absolutely huge in this day and age. So she just tied the career games played mark at UNCW. She's six on the list in terms of career minutes played. Having a player that brings that type of continuity to your program, it's very important for cohesion. And I love what Evan Miller is doing for the Seahawks. Now, it's a big week coming up for UNCW. They go on the road, they have Delaware, and they have Drexel. So, the one thing I know for sure, all eyes are on UNCW.
Absolutely. And like you said, Evan Miller has been huge for the Seahawks, but they have lots of pieces. Now, the other team, Monica, that made a statement last week was Campbell, which defeated a Monmouth team that had been playing so well. And then they go ahead and they go on the road and they end William and Mary's 5-game winning streak. What do you like about the Camels?
Well, first of all, I thought that that win against William and Mary was big for so many reasons for Campbell. So, first of all, that's their first road win of the season. So, they've gotten that behind them now. I know that's something that can get in your head. It can be a little bit of a mental thing. And that was a decisive win for Campbell. They scored 92 points in that game. Now, when you score 92 points, you're usually going to win. That is a lot of point production. They also shot over 56% from the floor. And that was also a huge key to that win. Now, I told you the theme of the week is having that balance, having different players step up. And when you look at the Camels lineup, it's not just one player who's carrying the load. They have six players averaging 7 or more points on the season who've scored at least 140 points. And I think that that is important. You don't know who's going to step up in what game situation. And so I think for Campbell, that's a big key to the success right now. And I talked about getting that elusive road win. Now they're perfect 9-0 at home. So they're doing a great job defending the home floor. But I think that having all that balance is big. And hats off to our CAA Rookie of the Week, Jasmine Felton. What a week she had, averaging 15 points per game, 5 rebounds, had a new career high against Monmouth with 18 points. You look at Campbell, their offensive efficiency is off the charts. They're second in the league in scoring offense and field goal percentage. They protect the ball. There's a lot of good things that they are doing right now. And so they're absolutely ones to keep your eyes on.
Yeah, absolutely, Monica. And we've talked about a lot of already big performances, but we've got a pretty big weekend, and it's going to be a challenging slate for the two teams at the top of the standing. So let's first talk about first place North Carolina A&T. They host Charleston on Friday and then Campbell on Sunday. What are the keys for the Aggies with these two tough games at home?
So I've talked a lot about North Carolina A&T all season long. I mean, you can't not talk about them. They are doing so many things so well. But one thing that I haven't focused as much on that I was thinking about this week that this is really huge for them is the rebounding. And I think that one thing that makes this North Carolina A&T team so special is the way that they hit the glass. They do a lot of these little things which are contributing to the success. And you look at the rebounding margin numbers. And North Carolina A&T leads the league. The margin is 7.2. The next closest team is Monmouth with 3.9. That's a pretty big gap there in terms of rebounding margins. So I love the way that North Carolina A&T really buys into how important rebounding is. And then the second big thing I'll say about the Aggies, and we know this about Terrell Robinson's teams, is the defense. You look at the way that they defend their opponents. They're leading the league right now in scoring defense. I think that's huge. They're second in opponent field goal percentage. They lock in defensively. And I think that's so exciting for the Aggies.
Yeah, absolutely. And another hot team has to be the Drexel Dragons. Now, Drexel takes a 5-game winning streak into games with Monmouth and UNCW, who we've already talked about. What are you looking to see from the Drexel Dragons for them to continue their success this weekend?
Well, I've talked a lot about her, and I think everyone knows at this point I'm a big Amaris Baker fan. Like you have to be. She is so sensational. She leads the league in points per game and in field goal percentage. The way that she is so consistent, you can count on her offensively to put up those numbers, despite the fact that defenses are keying in on her. She has not been a secret in this league for a long time. You look at her, she was our tournament MVP last season. Everybody has her at the top of the scouting report. So again, the key for Drexel, they're not just Amaris Baker. They have so much talent in that lineup. And the way that they play as a team just really stands out to me. You think about Grace O'Neal, Chloe Hodges, Kara McCormick, Deja Evans. You look at the numbers, they protect the ball, they lead the league in assist turnover ratio. They are such good distributors. When you think about Grace O'Neal and Chloe Hodges, they find the hot hand, they facilitate, they're unselfish. These are all things that could be huge as we come down the final stretch of conference play and when we look to tournament time. And that is why I am so excited about the Drexel Dragons.
Well, Monica, looks like we've got another exciting week of Women's CA hoops on dock. So thank you for your time as always, and we look forward to checking in with you again next week. Fans, you can keep up to date on CA women's basketball by following CA Basketball on X and CA Sports on Instagram and Facebook. Enjoy the games, and we'll see everyone next week.